Hello and welcome to a new season of the Danny Sancomb Show. I'm your host this week, Matt Keifer, the Sports Information Director here at Cal U. And I'm here with Coach Sancomb. Coach, it's been over 600 days since a basketball game. I'm sure it feels like a lifetime ago for you and some of your players.
It has. It's time to get back to playing basketball, and excited about the upcoming season and ready to go.
Yeah, and as you said there, we started up this weekend here with a tip-off in Charleston. Before we do that, time to reflect back. It's been quite a while, looking back at the 2 seasons ago, basically, for the idea of the 2019-2020 season. The Vulcans had a very successful season, made the PSAC tournament, earned a home game, posted a victory over Gannon in the PSAC tournament, and then advanced to the quarterfinals there. Looking back on it, what is it that you took most from your team with the achievements from a couple years ago, bringing it to now this year?
I think it was just big for us to really get the program turned around. I think there were 7 consecutive losing seasons and able to stop that and just miss the NCAA tournament and have a chance with our last 2 games, if we win, to finish second on the west side, which we fell short in both of those games. But I just felt like our team continued to improve throughout the season. And it was a fun group to coach, and it's been so long since they've been here, and we've got some new faces, but it was a good turnaround season for the program.
Now, again, nobody knew really what March 2020 would end up being. What is it, something you took from yourself that time away, having basically a whole season off, coming back in the spring semester? But what did you do personally, and then also the guys? What did they work on that you told them to try to just keep at it? Because, again, basketball guys barely go 10 hours without a basketball, much less 10 days or 600 as it's been now.
Yeah, that was a challenge, obviously, especially for us not being in school the first semester. You know, we did the Zoom meetings. Guys were able to work out a little bit on their own, but in certain areas, you know, they couldn't do anything at that point in time, just depending what state some guys were from. But everybody worked hard. We got back that second semester. Obviously, we were able to practice. We spent a lot of time with that, and it was beneficial for us. We were able to grow our team, spend time together, and I think we were creative with how we practiced. Obviously, when you practice for a whole semester and not play a game, that's tough on the players and the coaches. But I think we were able to mix in and get a lot of skill work in and just continue to try to develop our players. Personally, it's probably the most time I was able to spend with my family in many, many years. So I did enjoy that, especially with my boys, just playing some basketball in the backyard, just doing a lot of different things with them. It was great from that standpoint, but I did miss what I do so bad. You know, when you coach, it's really a part of your lifestyle, and I missed the grinding, the early mornings, the practices, watching the film, all those things, getting prepared for games. It just it stunk for, I think, everybody involved, not just our coaching staff. I know it was hard on our players as well.
Yeah, again, the fall season's gone off relatively smoothly from almost every athletic department in the PSAC. And with that, basketball season starts coming right up around the corner. The PSAC released its preseason polls not too long ago here into the preempting the season. IUP, again, was a preseason favorite after winning the conference tournament. What's your thoughts overall about the PSAC, the West in particular, and we'll shift to the East?
Yeah, very, very competitive. You know, I think in this league, you know, the coaches do an outstanding job of running programs. They recruit great players, but they also coach very well, and each team they have problems. They cause problems for you. You know, I think our west side, from top to bottom, it's going to be hard to win games. You're going to have to execute on both ends if you want to win games in this league. And, you know, you're going to have to defend and you're going to have to rebound for sure on our side.
Yeah, in the PSAC, you have a handful of players coming back, including the Defensive Player of the Year, John Paul Kromka at UPJ, and also IUP returns Player of the Year candidate in Armani Foster, and also the Freshman of the Year in Porterfield. So those are 2 big names there for the Vulcans to be watching, and the fans all year long. I know those guys will be up there. Kromka is one of those guys that seems like a double-double every single night with Pitt Johnstown. And then Mercier having the benefit, them and Gannon having to play last year, even though it's an independent schedule. Can you just talk about what that is going to be kind of a challenge for trying to play catch-up against those kind of teams?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, we have great players in the league. You mentioned a few of them, but I think, you know, each team will have some standout players for sure. You know, not playing for a year, I think we've been able to get back into it now. You know, we've got some scrimmages under our belt. I think by the time we get into conference play, we'll have a few games under our belt. So I think we should be adjusted by that point in time. I noticed this year was a little bit longer getting guys in basketball condition per se, because we didn't have a season last year. But I think we've got a good veteran group in our guard positions that really have a good idea and have done a good job leading. I think we have some younger guys inside that have really picked up things quickly and are ready to get after it as well.
Yeah, and then shifting over to the PSAC East, Shippensburg's had a tremendous turnaround with the coaching staff they have there, and they actually returned back the Player of the Year in Jake Bliss at Shippensburg, and that's a team the Vulcans are going to see in non-conference play early in the year, one of those games you picked up. What's your thoughts overall in the East there, with obviously Bliss headlining, basically being the only guy coming back from the first team all-conference the last 2 years ago?
Yeah, very competitive as well. You know, they play very hard as well. It's very similar. You know, you're going to look at the top 4 or 5 teams on their side and look at the top 4 or 5 teams on our side, and they're great teams. And then you're going to look at, 6, 7, 8, 9. And if you're not ready to play, you'll lose to those teams. So I think they got a competitive side. They don't have the names per se, but those coaches get out there and recruit, and they just bring in new players, when the old players graduate. So it'll be very competitive on that side. Obviously, we play Shippensburg in a non-conference game, and we play them at their place, and we'll have to be ready to play because they're very good, but they're even better at home.
Yeah, and then looking at the schedule overall here, and some coaches obviously been a year off, they piece things together, but you guys definitely put one together that's very challenging. 21 teams up and down the non-conference schedule, starting here this weekend with games against Charleston and Glenville State, 2 teams that made the MEC tournament in the semifinals last year. Can you just talk about what you've seen for those two looking back on film coming up this weekend?
Yeah, 2 different styles of play for sure. Charleston's going to slow down the tempo and execute really in the half court. They got a great post player in McManus, and they've got guys on the perimeter that are able to make shots and very hard to guard. Glenville is going to be up and down. They're going to look to attack off the dribble, move the ball well. They have a outstanding guard returning who was an All-American candidate who is really, really good offensively and puts a lot of pressure on us defensively, and they'll pick up and guard 94 feet away from the basket. So we're going to get 2 different styles, a little bit slower and then faster the next night.
Yeah, and then you come home with Franklin Pierce, by far easily the furthest team Cal will be playing in a number of years. How'd you go about getting a game like that, a team from New Hampshire that made their semifinals of their tournament in the NE10 a couple years ago?
Yeah, just hard to find games. It was. We looked and called, obviously all the regional schools in our region and just couldn't get a lot of teams. And Franklin Pierce called. They were looking for a game, and we're fortunate to get them. And another competitive game, we'll have to be ready to play. They're pretty solid each and every year, so it'll be a challenge for us when we get back after we play these 2 games.
Yeah, then you can go right in after that. You come back with Fairmont State, which again, they won the MEC in the shortened spring season and also not too far removed from a national championship. So another team in another program, at least it's close, but a very successful, strong, tough opponent for the Vulcans before PSAC West play.
Yeah, and I think, my thinking with scheduling is we always want to prepare ourselves to be competitive and have a chance to win our conference. And, you play Fairmont State, who's 22nd in the country. You play Charleston, who's 25th in the country. You play Glenville, who's a team on the rise, and Franklin Pierce. It's just building to get your team ready to play when we get into PSAC West and we get into crossovers. We're going to be able and ready to play at that point in time. So, we always want to hit the ground running, but when we start conference play, we want to be ready to play and get off to a good start.
Okay, well, thanks there, Coach. We're going to take a quick break here and then go through the roster. There's a lot of new faces here for the Vulcans coming up this season. I had to actually have a roster in front of me here to just actually make sure we got all the guys listed there. But we'll be back after a minute.
Back by popular demand and better than ever is late-night dining in the Natali Student Center. Join us starting Monday, October 18th at the hot spot for evening dining, Natali Evening Eats, located on the 2nd floor of Natali next to Umami. Open Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. to 11:30 p.m., and on weekends, 7:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m., Natali Evening Eats is a one-stop shop for your favorite menu items. Orders can be placed through our mobile app or at the designated Evening Eats kiosk. We can't wait to see you there.
Emotes say a lot, but they can't say it all. Think your guildmate is struggling? Try these dialogue options. Go beyond emotes. Check in with your guildmates at seizetheawkward.org.
And welcome back to the Danny Sancomb Show. My name is Matt Keifer. I'm the SID here at Cal U, and with me here before their season tips off this weekend is head coach Danny Sancomb. Coach, again, a lot of new faces on this roster this season. It's one of those things, the eligibility years is going to be very difficult for everybody. Got a couple guys coming back as seniors that you are quite familiar with. One is new to this program, but not new to yourself. Can you just talk a little bit about the idea of Brent Pegram and also Preston Boswell? What's it mean to having those two guys been around your system, the style that you like to play for a number of years?
Yeah, I love both of those guys. Obviously, Brent has been outstanding here at Cal and was a big part of us winning a conference championship at Wheeling. He's just our leader, just plays on both ends of the court, really good defensively and on the ball, and makes players around him better and is able to shoot the basketball and score the ball as well. Preston, being a newcomer to the program, played for me at Wheeling, is just a winner, is just gritty, has the ability to score the ball, also has the ability to make players better, and does a very good job defending. So with those two as our 1 and 2, and then add Zion Collins to our 3, who was second team all-conference 2 years ago when we played last, I just really feel that all 3 of those guys bring so much to us. Zion is such a good athlete and is such a great playmaker, whether he's finishing at the rim or finding guys to get easy shots. Preston has the ability to do that, as does Brent. So I'm really excited about those 3 guys, and they all work hard defensively, and they're going to be a big part of what we do this year, and they're going to be a big part of the success we have, depending upon how they play.
Another returning starter that would be there, everybody expect to see would be Jermaine Hall, but again, due to injuries, he will not be playing this season. But again, looking at who's left, there's a couple other guys who are bench players in a red shirt, and Phillip Alston, Tyler Berry, and then Dylan Borden. You used to talk about those 3 guys. I know obviously they've made adjustments from the year and a half since they've been away from the game, but also 2 full years basically into the program and college game. Yeah,
really excited. Phil Alston gave us a few minutes 2 years ago, but he's just transformed his body. He's 235 pounds now, just runs and jumps so well, but his skill set has developed. He scores with his back to the basket now. He can take you out to the three-point line and knock down the 3, and he is very hard to keep in front when he gets to the basket, and he just defends very, very well, can protect the rim, and he's a great rebounder for us. High expectations and really excited about Phil. He's had a great preseason, has worked extremely hard, and will continue to get better, and is going to be a big part of our team. Tyler, he really defends well for us. He needs that. He brings that toughness for us, whether it's taking charges, winning loose balls, and then he's improved his shooting, and he just cuts so well and understands our offense well, and just brings a lot of energy for us. So really excited about him. And then Dylan has been in our program, obviously redshirted his freshman year. We didn't have the season last year. Is just a true guy that can play the point as well. Great on the ball defender. Really makes guys around him better, passes the ball extremely well, and when open, will knock down the open 3. So another guy that can bring great energy into our program, and we'll need it this year.
Yeah, and let's just talk about some of these other guys that are new as well. We'll go a couple at a time here. You have Brandon Singleton, Bryson Lucas, and then Keith Palick III. What do those 3 guys have in their skill sets, and what you've seen so far in camp for some of these newer players?
Yeah, Brandon is getting it, works extremely hard, good athlete, plays hard on defense, knocks down the open 3 for us. Keith Palick has played great for us, very skilled offensively, being 6'8", shoots the ball well, passes the ball extremely well, and has rebounded the ball well for us, and is going to play a big role for us in the upcoming season, and we'll need him to continue to improve as the season goes. Bryson Lucas is the same way, just big-time energy player, great athlete, defends very well, can score the ball on 3 levels, shoots it, can put it on the floor and can finish at the rim. Super long, has a lot of energy. Again, is going to have to play well for us this year and can play multiple positions. So really excited about those guys.
And keep going down the list here. We'd be remiss if we didn't reference Donald Whitehead Jr., but again, another player who suffered an injury. It will not be for the Vulcans this year, but again, rehabbing back, him and Jermaine Hall. I expect to have them back next year, but again, we'd be remiss if we didn't reference him in this list as well. You have McQueen, Slaughter, and Jimerson.
Yeah, start with DJ. DJ's had a great preseason for us, really worked his way up the ladder for us, can do a lot of different things, very under control. Really does a good job making the right basketball decisions, shoots the ball well for us, and is getting better defensively for us for sure. Who was the next one?
McQueen and Jimerson.
Yeah, Gabe is really starting to come along. We need him to rebound the basketball for us. We need him to be an inside presence for us. He can also stretch the defense. He can shoot the three when he's open. In the last 2 weeks, he's really started to come along, and he'll play some valuable minutes for us early in the season, and we'll need him to, like I said, defend and rebound. And then Quadell, just an energy guy, defends very well, attacks the rim, and we're going to need him to bring that energy each and every night.
And believe it or not, we still have more guys on this roster. This roster is quite large this year. It would be nice to have, I'm sure, as a change of pace, having an actual deep bench to go to throughout the season. But you have Lyons, Saputo, and Chris Picun, a local graduate from Ringgold. Yeah,
Xavier First has done very good. And again, he's another guy that's come on here in the last 2 weeks. Versatile because he can play a little bit of three, a little bit of four, shoots the ball very well, is starting to understand our defensive rotations, and is getting better and has done a really nice job for us at this point in time. Who'd you say?
Sal and Chris.
Chris has been injured with a little bit of Achilles, should be back in about 4 more weeks, so he'll have to, catch up for us and get back into it. And then Sal has been moving along. He's starting to understand what we're expecting from him, a guy that can score the basketball, a guy that can create and make plays for others. So we'll need him to continue to do that.
And then the last three, we have Sparks, J.C. Maxwell, and Eric Bass.
Yeah, I'll start with J.C. J.C.'s done a really good job, just as where he's supposed to be all the time. Understands our offense. He cuts hard, makes open shots, and then defensively, he's a very good team defender where he's supposed to be. He's always at, and he's really come on here in the last week as well. So really expecting good things from him. Caden plays the point, does a good job getting us in the offense, makes shots, works hard on defense, brings good energy for us as well, and looking forward to getting him out there this year.
And then Eric Bass will be the last one.
Yeah, and Eric has the ability to make open threes, plays good on the ball defense, and we need him to bring energy as well.
Okay, well, Coach, thank you for taking the time going through that huge roster we have there. Hopefully you can see a lot of those guys here coming up. We got games at home next week. But before we get to that point, Coach, and the Vulcans will be tipping off the season at Charleston with games against Glenville and Charleston this weekend. Coach, thanks for taking a couple minutes here in your final couple days of preparation to go through the preseason, and we'll be seeing a lot more of you here next couple weeks here at CUTV.
Thank you, guys, and look forward to getting everybody out for the games and coming out and support this team this year.
Well, thanks. That'll do it for this week. Again, you're watching the Danny Sancomb Show.